Bibi's running around, this is a fact, I'm not guessing about this, because I talked to people he said it to, is running around the Middle East, his region, and his own country, and telling people point blank, just stating it, I control the United States, I control Donald Trump. He's saying that, and I dare them to say that's not true. Bibi, not the nation of Israel, not Israelis, and certainly not Jews, whatever that means. The leader, the secular prime minister of a country is doing immense harm to Donald Trump's presidency, to the United States, and to the world. This is an unbalanced person whose only real concern is for himself. He's meddling in an extensive way in American politics. He's loathed by the entire world.
Dinesh D'Souza, a convicted felon, is accusing Tucker Carlson of ripping the MAGA movement apart for having the audacity to criticize a foreign leader, Benjamin Netanyahu. D'Souza aired his grievances on X, writing, "The problem with Tucker is not that he's bad for Israel. He's bad for Trump and MAGA. He's trying to rip MAGA apart ideologically and generationally. I don't know his motives, but who can be blind to the effects of his actions? And who benefits? The left, the Islamic jihadis."
So this guy's a crack up. By the way, this is now all over the place, and we'll show you Eric Erickson and so many others. So Mediaite has like 2 articles a day. Oh, the real right wingers hate Tucker Carlson and love Israel. Do they? And every accusation is a confession. Dinesh D'Souza and so many of these other guys, I don't know particulars on Dinesh, okay? But I do know overall, and we see it with now the revealed text from Charlie Kirk, that there are tons of donors who are pro-Israel. They donate to right-wing hosts to make sure they are pro-Israel. So all of those guys all of a sudden coming out and going, oh, if you want to be MAGA, you have to kiss Netanyahu's ass. And if you don't like Tucker Carlson, you're ripping us apart and you're not real MAGA. Yeah, good luck with that.
Netanyahu is a notorious war criminal who is currently wanted by the International Criminal Court. The idea that the American conservative movement needs to be loyal to a disgusting man who has carried out unspeakable atrocities is laughable to me and is not a good look for American conservatives. But at the end of the day, we're talking about Dinesh D'Souza, again, a convicted felon. Let me give you more of what he had to say, including his attempt to essentially redefine what America first means. America first, he writes. My point is not that Tucker is a paid shill.
It kind of sounded like that though.
I have never said it because I have no idea if it's true.
He just assumes it because he's a paid shill. My guess.
My point is that when you routinely bash our ally Israel, you help the double-dealing Qataris and the Iranian mullahs and radical jihadis everywhere. Let me just be clear about something. I'm seeing more and more idiotic Americans essentially regurgitate propaganda from the Israeli government in regard to Qatar. Qatar happens to be our ally. We have a military base in their country, okay? These morons beating the war drums against an actual ally of ours is laughable. Well, by the way, they sing the praises of Israel as being our special ally when Israel has done nothing but get the United States into all sorts of trouble. Israel is a welfare state funded by the American taxpayer.
Yeah, so and I actually don't think there's this, like I'm not sure there's a single actual human being who says those things. I think almost everyone who says those things are paid shills. Like I've never seen anyone say Tucker Carlson, who if you look at their timeline isn't massively pro-Israel.
Carlson, get it right.
Yeah, whatever they're calling him, right? So that's why this whole thing's comical. It's a bunch of people up top trying to browbeat actual MAGA voters who totally agree with Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Right? And so, I mean, look at that tweet.
How about this, Dinesh D'Souza? How about this, for once? And it doesn't have to be Dinesh D'Souza, just any conservative who's like trying to rain hell on Tucker Carlson for actually making substantive points that are accurate and based in reality. How about you actually, instead of attacking him as a person, how about you actually attack his arguments with substance? Do you have a substantive argument? Oh, you don't. You don't have a substantive argument. So how about you shut the F up? Okay, because I'm not interested in hearing about your smears. I'm interested to see if there's an actual debate here. And if there isn't an actual substantive debate, if you're unable to push back against Tucker Carlson with a sound, cogent argument, well then you're the shill. And what's so disgusting about it is you're a shill for a foreign country.
Yeah, I mean, there's such great ironies there, because that tweet was talking about America first, and he basically concludes America first is Israel first. No, by definition it isn't. Yeah. So when you say that, you sound like an ass. And then he says, now it is very bigoted to criticize Israel. Instead, you have to criticize Qatar and Iran. Wait, why is that not bigoted? Okay, put Iran aside. Qatar is a top ally with a giant military base of ours there. So why is that not bigoted? No, shut up. You're all anti-Semites, okay? Okay, then if you criticize Qatar, are you anti-Muslim? Of course not, don't be ridiculous. Why?
What the hell did Qatar do? Like, why are we suddenly demonizing Qatar?
Oh, of course, everybody knows. Nowadays, now everybody knows. It's because if you're an enemy of Israel for any reason, that's it. There's gonna be dozens of pundits and politicians in America who will come out, hundreds if you put them all together, and tell you, oh, you have to hate Qatar, you have to hate them, you have to hate them. But they're our biggest base. Why do I have to hate them? Okay, guys, the other day, Turkey closed off the airspace to Israel and said we're not dealing with them economically anymore.
Good.
Immediately in mainstream media, there was like 3-4 articles about Turkey, actually Muslim Brotherhood, terrorists. There's a Republican we covered on the show, I think he was in South Dakota or somewhere, in a town hall. They're reconstituting the Ottoman Empire. Erdogan's Muslim. I mean, that propaganda is so quick, so thorough. It's all over the country. So before, by the way, Turkey not an enemy of Israel. Turkey's fine, Turkey's great, Turkey's an ally, Turkey's in NATO. The minute they defy Israel, Turkey's terrible, terrorist, etc. Come on.
If you don't have a substantive rebuttal against what Tucker Carlson is saying in regard to the nation state of Israel, I'm not interested in hearing anything you have to say. The idea that Tucker Carlson is ripping the conservative movement apart is laughable to me. Like, by the way, Dinesh D'Souza, how important do you think you are to the conservative movement? How many young conservatives are like at the edge of their seats waiting for your next tweet where you're literally like, anyway.
No one.
It's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. Okay, so look, I don't know if I really want to get into this, but recently Benjamin Netanyahu went on Dinesh D'Souza's show. I guess Dinesh D'Souza has a show of some sort. And the topic of Netanyahu's bloodline came up. Now, let me just set up the context before we go to this clip. An argument that Tucker Carlson accurately makes is that the Israelites referenced in the Bible are not the same as modern day Israel, right? Or the government of Israel. That's the argument that he makes. And so that topic came up as Dinesh D'Souza was speaking to Benjamin Netanyahu, and Netanyahu wanted to make the case that like, oh no, I come from, that's my heritage, Israelites. Okay, let's take a look.
In a recent exchange between Tucker Carlson and Senator Ted Cruz, Tucker Carlson said, are you saying that the Jews in Israel under Netanyahu are the descendants of the ancient Israelites who are described in the Bible?
Of course, there's no question about it. The Jews spread from this land to various parts of Europe, to the Middle East and elsewhere. But we never forgot this land. We said next year in Jerusalem, next year in Jerusalem. My great-grandfather came here in the 19th century. Most of the Palestinians who are alive today came after him. So that's what our history has been.
Oh, okay, then I guess you can engage in genocide and kill, hundreds of thousands of innocent people in order to claim that you like own that land. I don't believe him, but aside from that, I don't care.
Yeah, so I don't care where anybody's from. I find that, since I'm not a religious person, I find this idea that that God promised it to you 3,000 years ago. Okay, he promised it to me. How are we gonna debate it, right? I just find the whole thing insane and absurd. But to give you a sense of where Netanyahu is actually from, his real name is Benjamin Milikowski. He's Polish.
Why did he change it? That's weird.
It is weird, isn't it, right? So they're like, no. And tons of Israelis have changed their name to, and they could say ethnic pride, right? And maybe that's a fair thing. But the other possibility is that they're like, well, we don't want to seem like European colonizers, so instead we'll pretend that we've been here the whole time. But brother, have you been there the whole time? No. When Israel was created, only 6% of that land was Jewish, the citizens, right? The people that lived there, 6%. The rest immigrated largely from Europe and all parts of the different world, and it's okay. I mean, I don't want to go back to debating the creation of Israel, but don't tell me that your family's been there all this time, because they haven't. They've been in Poland. So, okay, I want to go to Eric Erickson, okay? So he's part of this now, and everybody's got to pile on Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and pretend they're not real right-wingers and all that stuff. So he writes, I forget who first pointed this out, but it is important. As Candace Owens, Tucker, et cetera, spread their Jews control everything propaganda on the right, it isn't really Qatar that benefits, but China.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
The Chinese have stirred the anti-Semitic pot.
We should go to war with them.
Adjusted the TikTok algorithm to amplify anti-Semitism, et cetera. All the people on the right suddenly blaming the Jews are not looking at China, and the voices spreading the propaganda are silent on China and its influence operations. So let me get this right, Eric. Don't hate the Jews, hate the Chinese. And you don't notice that?
Eric, look, I know Eric isn't stupid, because he's been one of the people on the right who has pushed back on members of his own, political group when they're being unhinged, quite frankly. So I want to be polite in saying that was stupid, Eric. That was really stupid. Our obsession with carrying out anything and everything Israel, not the Jews, Israel wants, has made us less competitive in this, ongoing tiff with China.
Mitt Romney said
like,
on
what are we
tape,
doing?
Yeah, said on tape, it's not about China, it's about Israel. That's why they're trying to stop TikTok. And then Larry Ellison, the biggest donor to IDF, is buying TikTok. And then Netanyahu said, we're buying TikTok on behalf of Israel. So this is all on tape. That's a paraphrase of Netanyahu's, but we showed you the tape multiple times. There's no question that he's like, now we have the influence on TikTok. So the idea that like this is some sort of conspiracy theory, well, then you should tell Netanyahu and Ellison and all the other guys who are admitting it, and Mitt Romney admitting it all over the place. And guys, this whole idea that the Chinese are anti-Semitic, and that's why they're trying to get us to hate Israel, it's so preposterous. Of course, that accusation is a confession. The Israelis are trying to get us to hate the Chinese so that it diverts our attention. Stop looking at Israel. Did we give $310 billion to China or Israel? Did we start the Iraq war because Iraq was the #1 enemy of China or Israel? Did we fund a genocide for China or Israel? Oh, right, every time it's Israel, right? But they're like, don't look, China, Qatar, you blame someone else. Oh, you guys are bigots against Israel. Oh, you should be bigots against China. You should be bigots against Qatar. And that was deeply, deeply ironic. No, we see you guys now. Sad day for you, the internet exists. So you keep talking your nonsense, but everyone who's out there going rah, Israel, you're all anti-Semites. Right winger, anti-Semite, racist, bigot. Keep accusing your own voters of being bigots and see how it turns out for you.